Nowadays, it feels like everybody's just training themselves to think that fixing their lives should look like some sort of cinematic montage. I mean, like, I don't know if you guys have seen those videos where somebody will actually unironically record themselves waking up at 4 a.m., which is kind of insane because it's like, did they set up a camera all night? Did they wake up at 3:30 and then set up the camera? I don't know. I do not possess the skills to understand that. I just think it's weird. But chances are you probably clicked on this video because the title promised you some sort of a quick fix to your dysfunctional life. And I don't blame you, but 10 minutes to undo 10 years of feeling like you're drifting apart from life? I'll be honest with you, that's a little bit of a far-fetch. So instead of promising you that everything's going to be brand new and different starting tomorrow, all you have to do is watch my video and give me attention. Instead, I'm going to give you something practical so that you can sort of knock this life in the right direction. You know, the reason why watching all of these, lifestyle gurus, the Diary of a CEO type videos, the reason why those habits don't stick is because we're trying to build a mansion on top of a landfill that is our current lifestyle. Now, trust me, it's admirable to want to add better things and better habits into your life. Better routines and better supplements and better lifestyle. It's all good things, but you can't really do it on a shifty foundation. You have to clean out the literal filth that's already occupying the space. And now I'm sure you could tell a lot of the focal point of this video has to do with changing your relationship with your environment, changing your relationship with your phone, altering your relationship with social media. But when I say you gotta delete everything or delete key things in your life, I don't mean you gotta go live in the woods and go off the grid and go crazy and throw your MacBook in a lake. But what I do mean is that for the next 10 minutes, we need to talk about the aggressive and impulsive and almost semi-violent act of pruning your life back to its factory settings. We're looking for a hard reset because you're not broken. You're just buried underneath a lot of distractions. Let's start with the thing in your hand or what's sitting next to you or what maybe you're watching this video on. We like to pretend that our phones are some sort of neutral tool to our life, kind of like a pacemaker. We tell ourselves it's just a piece of glass and I guess some silicone chips that we use for utility. But I think we both know that that's a lie. Your phone is the focal point for your entire emotional state. And this includes me too. Not just you, it's me too. And everybody that has one. On some of my worst days when I'm at work, but I happen to upload a YouTube video that same day, do you think I'm not opening that YouTube app? You think I'm not checking my views, checking my comments? I am refreshing it all day. And if I see the videos not performing or if things aren't going super well, it impacts me. I'm not always the best version of myself. But going hand in hand with that idea, our phone is the lens in which we see the world through. And if you're watching this video and you relate to it, your lens is probably covered in grease, literally and figuratively. I want you to think about the first, 10, 15, 20 minutes of your day. Most of us wake up and before we've even processed the fact that we're alive or able to blink our eyes or breathe, we reach for our phones. I sleep with my phone literally on top of me. And in those first few minutes, you aren't really choosing your mood. You're letting a bunch of random strangers and algorithms and CEOs and marketing people choose it for you. You might scroll through Instagram or X or YouTube and see some sort of like a political take from one of your friends that makes your blood boil. And then you go to Facebook and you see somebody you went to high school with living a life that looks 10 times better than yours. You check your email and you see a fire you already have to put out at work. By 7:15 a.m., you've already surrendered all your agency for your day. You are already in a state of reaction. You're reacting to the world instead of acting upon it and creating a moment. And it all hinges around your phone. So I've been doing something lately that feels a little bit impulsive, maybe even slightly manic. That's up to you guys to decide. But it's been the most effective fix for this sort of weird feedback loop that I've found in years. So lately, if I'm scrolling through any type of social media and I see a post, it could be any post that is purely negative and it doesn't really offer some sort of a solution or a thoughtful reason for it to be negative and for me to see it, I nix it. Gone. There you go. I don't just scroll past and say not for me. I unfollow the account immediately, even if I know them for years. Screw it. I got weird people that I've been friends with or weird people that I went to high school with or weird people that I've worked with that really have such a weird negative perspective on the world. I've been doing this content creation thing for quite a bit now, and I used to follow people out of habit. You know, people I haven't spoken to in years, or maybe like just random negative based YouTube channels, or people that just changed and it's uncomfortable because I miss a previous version of them. And now there's this new version that's totally different. And it might seem small, just, you know, following somebody, seeing their posts, liking their posts, you know, keeping up with their posts. But you don't realize that this is creating a lot of background noise in your head. And you're almost paying these people with your attention and therefore your mental health. I mean, if I see a post that makes me feel like the world is genuinely a lost cause, getting out of bed is not worth it, and that post doesn't offer like a unique perspective or maybe offer a way to help or is a genuine insight to learn from, it's gone. How is it making my life better? If you don't pass the audit, you don't pass the audit. You don't pass go. It's as simple as that. You know, I'm sure in some circles people might call this living in a bubble or whatever, but I just call it protecting the only brain that I have inside my head. You know, your mental real estate it's the most expensive thing that you own. You know, you gotta keep inventory of why you're letting people live there for free just to dump trash in your hallways. So if you're scrolling through your feed, I want you guys to do this today if you feel comfortable. If you see an account in your feed and you can't remember why you followed them, or if maybe their posts consistently make you feel less than, or angry, or sad, or anxious, hit the unfollow button, hit the mute button. Do it impulsively. Don't overthink it. There's absolutely nobody in this world you have to ask permission for. You don't owe them your attention. And here's a genuinely really hard truth. You know, watching this video right now, as much as I appreciate you guys, it is technically a potential risk to your productivity. Because I feel like we're living in an age right now of information satiety. You know, we're mentally full, but we're physically still stationary. We're still at the station. You know that feeling you get after you watch a really, really good self-improvement video? You get like a rush of, yeah, I'm gonna go change everything starting tomorrow, starting today, starting next week. As good as that feels, I think we could both agree that's just a fake dopamine hit. You know, your brain gives you it because it thinks you're actually accomplishing something, so it's rewarding you, even though you're still just sitting in the same gaming chair in the same unfortunately messy room. Man, it's super easy to get addicted to the feeling of being someone who is fixing their life, you know, without actually doing any of the fixing. We consume, you know, field notes, tutorials, Reddit pages, podcasts, like it's some sort of a meal replacement shake. You know, we feel full of knowledge, so we don't actually feel the hunger to actually act. There are so many cases and so many of you guys who don't actually need any more advice. You know, you probably already know exactly what you need to do or what you want to do or what direction you're going in. You know the room is messy. You know the car needs a wash. You know the project is sitting at 10% completion. But because you've consumed so much ideal life content, the gap between where you are and where some sort of gurus are, it probably feels so wide that you don't even want to take the first step. And I'm just going to go out there and say this. If you have not applied a piece of advice within 24 hours of hearing it, maybe, just maybe, you shouldn't be able to hear anymore. It feels like eating a 5-course meal when you haven't even begun to digest breakfast. I'd say a much more productive starting point is just to change what is physically in front of you in the same space that you live. Start there. You can always expand out from there. It's super easy to say, oh, I'm going to fix my life with a 5-year plan or a vision board or something like that, but we ignore the day-to-day problems that are creating background noise in our head. They take up a tiny percentage of your processing power at all times. And when you have 50 of these tiny little things piled up competing with each other, you don't stand a chance when something real comes your way. So today, I'm going to be leading by example. I'm going to set one goal for myself this weekend to get done. My car is absolutely filthy. The inside is very dusty. There's a lot of salt and sand from the New York winter. I'm going to get out there. I'm going to clean it so that every time I get in my car, there's not this weird latent reminder of, oh, this is something I have to clean. This is something I have to do. And I think that's going to make me feel good about myself. And then maybe I'll make my way to the gym. Who knows? So here's what I want you guys to do. I'm not asking you to change your life today or make any crazy money today. I'm asking you to change one fact about your life. I want you to go into the comments right now on this video, write down one boring, small, seemingly insignificant task that you're going to do the second this video ends or the second the weekend starts or whenever you get some free time. Not a project, not a journey, just one task. Clean your room, clean the fridge, cook a meal, go to the gym, something like that. Let me know in the comments. Let me know what it is. We can have some accountability. And mine is I'm just going to go clean my car. Maybe I'll get a workout in after if I'm lucky. It's not going to make me more successful. It's not going to fix my career. No, it's not going to do any of that. It's just going to remove one piece of background noise that's dragging me down. And I'll feel like a better person for doing it. And the journey of bettering yourself, it starts one step at a time.